We're going to talk about credit today, guys. Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101, and today we'll be talking about credit. I'm going to show you all my different credit scores from a couple of sources, and you're going to see how they vary, how they fluctuate, depending on a number of factors. Whether it's your FICO credit score or your Vantage credit score. And it also has to deal with the date. It has to deal with reporting, the three credit agencies, as you know, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Let's get into it. All right, so we back in. Let's look at it very, very quickly. So as you can tell right here, this is my account. My name is Raymond Ross, as you guys know. Here's the information right here. This is coming from my Experian credit score. Okay, currently it says here that I have a 752 credit score, that it has decreased by 6%. Okay, it's still saying that it's very, very good. Saying I have 9 inquiries, open accounts 10, total debt is $412,000 with a credit utilization of only 6%, okay? I'm way below the national average of how much debt that people have. And I've been sharing this information with you guys, building on this video, so you guys understand how powerful and how useful having a decent and great and very good credit score absolutely is. Let me continue on. Now coming from my Discover card. Now this is way back in May 17th. As you notice, this is outdated, but this is showing you the fluctuation and how your credit score can change depending on when they take the report, okay? When they take the report, when you do the actual recordings. So again, I want you to take a moment here and I want you to break that down. I want you to look at that, okay? Because it's very self-explanatory. It says here, my FICO score is 769, total accounts 17, years of length 13, inquiries 2, revolving utilization only 10%. Remember, we want to keep this under 30%, so mine is well under 30% by 20. Missed payment are 0. And it says here that I have a very good, but again, this is of May 17th. Let's continue on. Here's another FICO score, and this is from June 3rd. This is from my Navy Federal account. For you guys want to know, it is me, Raymond Ross. Okay, 771 credit score. And as you can see, my timeline here, 732, 711, it's been building, it's been fluctuating, but that's what happens when you're doing things with your credit. But nonetheless, it looks healthy. Let me continue on. Here's another chart for my Credit One account, but it's powered by Experian. But we went back here, Experian is not feeding into this particular credit score. So again, it has to deal with the date, the fluctuation. We are going to break it down, those parts of the credit score that you need to know, whether it be your VantageScore or your FICO score, because essentially a lot of times the reason why you see these large fluctuations is because things are not being reported to all three credit agencies equally, Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, then also the dates that those particular platforms update your credit score. It's very imperative that all your things are being reported, okay? Now for me, I will tell you this, I'm good about my credit, but I'm not good about making sure that each credit agency reporting the same thing, because once I get over 750, really 720, I really don't worry about it, because I can get those grade A credit utilization, those grade A credit benefits that everybody else get. And that's what people are not understanding. People are really striving for an 800. People are really striving for an 850. But really, ladies and gentlemen, when you start getting to the 720 to 750, you start moving into a different echelon, a different realm of credit being used. Whether you want to buy real estate, you want to buy the fleet of cars, you want to buy Amazon Flex, whatever you want to do with your credit when it comes to business, believe me, when you start getting over 720, heading your way to 750, things start opening up. It's kind of like it was a 1-lane road, now it's a 4-lane road. So understand what I'm saying. So a lot of you are thinking about that huge number. You're thinking about that big number. The number you should be focused on, if you're not at 720, is 720. It's kind of like a race or whatever. Okay, I need to get this point to this point to this point, or even a marathon, because that's exactly what this is. This is a marathon, and you're trying to figure out, okay, at the 5-mile mark, as long as I can get to the 5-mile mark, then I'll have enough energy, I'll have enough stamina to carry on. I have enough motivation to carry on to the next 5-mile mark. And that's how if you're at a 650, your next goal should be like, let me get to 670, let me get to 700, let me get to 710, let me get to 720, and do those things. And we're going to walk this over very, very quickly, because I don't want to be before you long, because I know you guys want this information and you want me to shut up. So here we go. Now, right here, I have an 800. Now, I don't see the date and actually what they reported, but that's okay. I'm moving right along, okay? So, see, I'm still here, and this is from my Capital One account, and it says one date update, okay? I have a 24% increase. It says right here, back in May 27, I had a 792, but this is my Vantage score, okay? I'm in the top 10 percentile of creditors according to Vantage, okay? At 816, I have an excellent score because the range is from what? 300 to 850 when it comes to Vantage, okay? So let's move on. Let's break this down. All right, when we're talking about the FICO score, the poor is at 300 to 579, fair 580 to 669, good 670 to 739, and also very good 740 to 799, and exceptional 800 to 850. Now, according to my FICO score, let me see, my last FICO score, was this it? So I'm around 799. So where does that put me in a FICO score? I'm very, very good, okay? They say 67% of Americans have a good FICO score or better. So this is what they're saying. 60% of Americans are in this range from good to very good. Now, I'm right here on the pendulum of 799. You know me, ladies and gentlemen, I love to round up, so I'm going to go ahead and call myself exceptional. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into what? Your Vantage score. And we're going to break these things down, okay? 300 to 499, very poor, only 5%. 500 to 600 are poor, 21% of Americans. Fair, 601 to 660, 13%. 661 to 780, 38%. And then the 23 top percent of Americans have a 781 to 850. And it says here that 61% of Americans have a fair Vantage score or better, okay? So there's a lot of things that affect these particular scores that you guys need to understand. There's so many breakdowns, okay? There's so many breakdowns that I really want you guys to know what a good credit score, because I've broken down the 5 segments, okay? The 5 segments that you guys need to understand. So let me blow this up, but I really want you guys to work on this so you can have freedom in your finances, okay? Now, you guys are understanding investment. I'm glad that you guys are investing. That's great. I'm glad that you guys have a good emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of all your expenses in the bank account. I'm so absolutely happy. But now you're trying to multiply on your money. You're trying to compound on your earnings. And the one thing that's probably holding you back, which is holding back a lot of Americans, believe it or not, because these numbers are misconstrued, is your credit score, your debt to income ratio. So let's break this down. Now, when it comes to the FICO score, these are the factors that the FICO score actually factor in. Your payment history. How long have you been paying on certain accounts? Like take, for instance, this. I'm going to stay logged in. And it says 13 years, okay? 13 length of credit. Of course, my credit is a lot longer than that. But nonetheless, they're going to, and it's green. They're already telling green. Now, inquiries. Anytime you have an acquire, like I went out and I bought a new car, right? And some people say that's an absolutely bad idea, but I bought another Genesis and I'm happy with it. But nonetheless, I can do that. And if you had good credit, if you had money in the bank, you could do it as well. So don't feel guilty about that, okay? But my advice, and I always tell you this, I always tell you guys this, my advice is my advice. This is financial information, okay? This is not professional advice. It's financial information, because more times than not, I would tell people go out and buy a pre-certified vehicle, because 30% of that car will depreciate as soon as you drive it off the lot. 30%. Okay? So essentially, when you go buy a pre-certified, it comes with a warranty, comes with a guarantee of assurance from that dealership, because usually you're going to buy from the dealership of the vehicle maker. That way you have that warranty on there and you always knock off the overhead. But sometimes people just like new vehicles, okay? So this is what it is. Is it a great financial decision? Absolutely not, because we understand that cars are a liability, not an asset. Nonetheless, but we're talking about length of credit, okay? Let me go back here. So when I'm looking at this, it says the amounts owed, okay? 30%. You don't want it to go over 30%. We talked about that, okay? Mine is at 10%, okay? Mine is at 10%. You don't want to go over 30%, so I'm still in the green. Let me move on. Length of credit history, went over that at 15%, 13 as well. And then your credit mix, and then new credit. This makes up 100% of how they factor, okay, your credit score. So again, if you have 30% of the amount you owe on your credit cards, your house, this, that, and the other, this is going to balloon this, and it's going to make sections like this in the red, okay? Section like this in the red of your credit utilization, revolving utilization credit, okay? So there's all these other breakdowns. Let me see if there's any else. See, my total debt is 412 because this, ladies and gentlemen, is my house. That's it, okay? That's my house, but my credit score will decrease, okay? I'm not gonna cap. I'm not gonna cap. Since I bought that new vehicle, it takes 30 days, almost 30 days for that to put on my credit. And once they see that car on my credit card will fall. It will fall. But I'm not worried about it. It's not like I need credit right now, okay? I'm doing everything that I want to do and more, okay? So let me move on. So new credit and credit mix. They want you to have a good credit mix so you can raise your credit score. Like myself, I have installment loans. I have mortgage loan, okay? So, and I also have revolving credit, and that's credit cards. So you need these 5 factors when you're thinking about raising your credit score and attack them. So one of the best case scenarios is decreasing your credit, increasing your debt, okay? Raising your income, because anytime, believe it or not, when you decrease your debt, you raise your income when it comes to factoring your credit score. And these are some of the things that you need to do. And you also need to have a good mix. Basically, you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. Oh, I just have a mortgage, okay? I just have a mortgage. Like, do you have any credit cards? A lot of people are trying to get away from credit cards. Like, no, you need to learn how to use your credit cards effectively. Meaning, I'll use my credit cards for paying my bills because it gives me what? You guys know me. It gives me reward points. Right now, I'm stacking up on American Express Delta miles. So when I go to Africa next year, me and my lady and my family, we can absolutely fly what? First class or business class, because I don't want to pay out of pocket. And if I do pay out of pocket, it may be $300 or $400. But we're using everything that we possibly can with that American Express card. Like Costco, we can't use it, so we use my Costco Citigroup card. When we go shopping, you know, I love Gap, very nice, cheap clothing, or Banana Republic. We use my Gap card. A buddy of mine, Stephen Gardner, you guys know about him. He let me onto that. So I'm using all these cards for a particular reason, and then I pay them off at the end of the month, so I don't pay none of them jokers interest rate. And this is a good credit mix when you have a mortgage and a car and credit cards and maybe a business loan. So these are things that you need to factor in. All right, so let's move on to Vantage. That is for, again, your FICO, payment history 35%. This is the markup, this is the makeup, how they use. Amounts owed 30%, length of credit 15%, credit mix 10%, new credit 10%. Let's move on. Now, here are the breakdown. Here are the factors for your VantageScore, okay? Now, as you can tell, it's quite different than you see from the FICO score. It says here that total credit usage, balance, and available credit, extremely influential, okay? They go by these terms rather than percentages. I like FICO better when it comes to percentages because I can understand that. When you're telling me total credit usage, balance, and available credit, I understand what you're saying, but I don't get what you mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand what you're saying, but I don't get what you mean because there's nothing for me to calculate. They're doing all the calculations for you. Okay, it's like, oh, total credit usage, balance, and available credit, extremely influential. But at what percentage? But at what amount? Well, if you saw my debt to income ratio, you see that I'm making $250,000 a year. And at this particular point, it's like extremely influential. What does that mean? Especially if you're an analytical person and you need numbers to define what the hell they're talking about. But nonetheless, this is Vantage. Now, 90% of lenders still use FICO. 90% of lenders still use FICO. Only 10% of lenders use VantageScore. But I believe that you should still work on both and at least understand both. Credit mix and experience, highly influential. Payment history, moderately influential. Age of credit history, less influential. New accounts open, less influential. So you see how very different it is because age of credit history is less influential, but you come up here, payment history or credit history, credit history is 15%. Okay, right there, stack in the middle where payment history is here. Age of credit, let's see here. Nope. Payment history is at 35%, one of the top tiers. So it's almost upside down to a point there. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to your credit score, whether it be your VantageScore, which is always going to seem a little bit higher, okay? And then we have to understand the dates that it's been updated. Because when you look at all of these scores that I have, okay, that signed me out, okay? That signed me out. Remember, this one was the one at 799. Let's see if we can get over here. That signed me out. That was at 771. This is don't forget this one is dated back in May. That's at 769, and then this one is 752. So you see, I have all these different credit scores out there. But again, I tell you guys, once I'm over 750, I don't care. Everything else is just bragging rights. Like, because here's the thing: you get to 750, you get to 780. When I went to go lease this car I have, and you know the thing about leasing, I'm just gonna give you a tad bit very quickly. There's three options to leasing. Okay, you can either, when you lease a car, it's usually a 3-year contract for 36,000 miles. Some people, you can up that to 15,000 or 10,000 miles, 12,000 miles, 15,000 miles a year. That's why a lot of people don't like to lease, because I drive so much. But nonetheless, when you lease a car, okay, you're only paying 50% of the price tag you see on the car. Okay, so this is a great option to do a couple of things. Okay, and this is all encompasses with your credit. Because more times than not, people with good credit can lease cars. People with bad credit can't. They will allow you to buy a car. Okay, because my leasing is directly from Genesis, okay? Not from a third lender bank, a third party, no, right from Genesis. It's not from any place else, okay? So when you have good credit, you can lease vehicles, and with that option, after your 3-year contract, after your 3-year lease, you can go back in and get a newer vehicle. You can lease it again for another 3 years, because more times than not, really, most cars, because the way people take care of cars, after 5 years, you start to pay a lot of maintenance fees, and it starts to really, really add up. So some people just go out and just get another car. That's why you'll see some people, you know, they're in a Porsche, they're in a BMW, they're in a Lex. Like every 3 years, they got a new car. More times than not, either one or two things: they have really good credit and they're leasing, or they have really bad credit and they bring over a lot of negative equity just so they can look good, okay? But nonetheless, when you lease, when you bring that car back in, again, they say, okay, do you want another car? You have 3 options. You want another car, you just want to turn in the car, or you want the option to buy the car. So here's the thing. When you factor in that you're only paying 50% of the price tag you see, what you should do is be calculating like, well, I want this car, so let me go ahead and plan to buy it at the 3-year point. So whatever your payments would have been if you was paying the total price tag of that car, put that money to the side. So when you say, yeah, I like the option to buy, whatever it is, you can throw it on the car and decrease your payments when you actually take out a loan, okay? So those are the 3 options you have with leasing. This is my thing. That's what I like to do. I have another Genesis in the driveway. I think I posted those pictures. I don't know. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you break down your credit score. This is the difference between Vantage and FICO credit score. And this is where I like to show you my stuff. So, hey, I'm not giving you a bunch of false examples. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. And the one thing that you need to know in this life is your finances, and especially your credit. I'm out.